Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. And in today's episode, what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you 3 different ways that you could go ahead and build a stronger relationship with your audience. So stay tuned. All right, so if you go ahead and you're selling a product, a service, if you're selling video courses, ebooks, any kind of business online, you probably want to go ahead and build a relationship with your customers or your audience. And by doing so, by building that relationship with your customers or audience, it allows you to connect deeper, and with a deeper connection, they trust you more. And when they trust you more, they're more likely to open up their wallet. So how is it that you go ahead and build this deep relationship or build this trust? Well, the thing is there's a couple of different ways, and the first way that I'll share with you is really something simple. It is by sharing something personal. When you go ahead and share something personal, you're really opening up to your customer. So think of it like back in grade school, or even in today's world where you have a friend. And when you have a friend, how is it that they've become your friend? It's by sharing stories. It's by sharing experiences, sharing moments that are a little bit more personal, by opening up, and you know what's happened in that bubble, in their bubble and in your bubble. And by sharing those experiences, it allowed them to trust you more because they are private moments. Not necessarily that they're fully private, but the point is that not everybody knows those stories. And that's what creates a deeper relationship, is that the exclusivity that you have to that connection of that person, and that therefore they trust you. It's in the same way where if you go ahead and ask for carpet cleaning services recommendations, you might trust your friend much more so than the reviews you see online, simply because you have a deeper relationship, you're more connected, so you might put way more weight or trust in that person. So that's one way to go ahead and do it. So as far as the business is concerned, how do you do this in your blog, in your videos, in your content, or in your email marketing? It's by sharing some personal stories. For example, maybe something you've done with your kids, maybe an experience you've had. Now, you may not want to go that deep. You may not want to share those that depth or that level of depth of your personal life. You could also share personal stories within your business, personal successes within your business. And that way it still gives somewhat of a connection, because I understand some people are more private in their business world, especially with the online these days, and that's totally understandable. But if you can go ahead and give people an insight, especially people that are on your newsletter list, or maybe watching your videos, or maybe that are connecting in the sales page. In the sales page, you might get more personal, and that could help lead and build a relationship further. Now, number 2, a different way is by sharing your customer stories. So let's say you didn't want to go ahead and share your personal stories. Another way that you could go about it, let's say you're more private, is by sharing customer stories. So if you have a story from a customer success, you could go ahead and share their stories, share what happened, the experience, the struggle that they had, and now it gives a glimpse and insight of, again, a deeper connection, an experience that you've had that you're sharing with your audience that's listening. So that's a great way to kind of also connect if you are a little bit more private, by sharing customer stories. And if your customer is also private, you could go ahead and talk about it in a generic form, like a generic company name for them, and also change their personal or private name. So again, you don't have to go ahead and reference them specifically, again, especially if they didn't want you to use their name or their company name. That's totally understandable. I have some people like that I've worked with that are just much more private. And in that case, you could just go ahead and change the name. For example, in some cases where in the news channel, names are changed for privacy reasons. So you could go ahead and do that along with, the business. Just talk about it in a generic way, such as this carpet cleaning business, or this book project that we worked on, rather than a specific book title or book name or author name. So that's another way of going about it. Now, the third way of going out and kind of building that relationship is to have social proof and testimonials. That's also another great way, because again, you're getting deeper into the relationship. As you can see, if you can get deeper into the relationship, all of a sudden it creates that stronger bond. Now, you might not want to share too many personal stories. Maybe your clients don't want to, they don't want you to share their stories, but maybe they're willing to give you a testimonial, whether it's a written form, but if you can get a video form testimonial, that's even better. More power to you. So that's kind of fantastic. And it's a great way to have that social proof as well. So by having testimonials from social media, by having testimonials from that are recorded by your customer, that really just gives that extra social proof to your either sales pages, email marketing that you're doing, social media marketing, any kind of product launches that you're doing. It's going to give you a lot more power in building that relationship. And even if you're just talking about things in general, let's say you're doing a blog post, or let's say you're going out and you're doing a video such as this one that's just a freebie video or free content. If you go ahead and put social proof within or throughout the video, whether just mentioning clients by name, or again, putting in their testimonials here on the side that'll pop up, that could also be another way to build that relationship. Now, again, you don't want to overdo it. There's always a balance to things, but trying some of these things out could help give you some insight to building a stronger relationship with your audience, especially if your relationship is a bit weak. If you already have a strong relationship with your audience, you may not need to do it as much. But if you want to build that relationship a little bit deeper, these are a few different ways that you could go about it, which is basically sharing something personal, sharing your customer stories, or having that social proof behind it. Now, the goal is to get deep and to understand their needs and struggles. So if you can also go ahead and do that while sharing social proof or sharing customer stories, that's a nice objective. And of course, the longer that relationship or the length of time that you have that relationship with people, the more the relationship builds, the stronger the relationship gets. So if, for example, you have a blog post that's maybe 2 minutes long, it's not really that in depth. If you have a PDF, let's say a study guide or a cheat sheet, that could be a little bit more longer, and people are spending a little more time with it. Maybe they're printing out the checklist and they're actually doing it by hand, so they see your name on there more often over the course of, let's say, a week or two, if it's a weekly checklist. And that all of a sudden can build that relationship, because in theory, they're kind of synthetically spending some time with you. Or let's say you do a webinar that might be 2 hours long rather than maybe a 10-minute video. That can also, the length and time can build that relationship further. So I hope this gives you some insight, some tips and ideas to going out and maybe gathering a little bit more strength within your audience and relationship building. Definitely go ahead and check out some of the freebies that I have on my website by clicking the link here on this video, or join us on YouTube by clicking the subscribe button right over here. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time in one of my future videos, courses, webinars, or maybe a one-on-one coaching sessions. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.